Hi there YouTubers and 3D Studio Max enthusiasts. Welcome to my 3D corner. In today's episode we are going to discuss different options on how to model simple table. We're going to take a simple table from IKEA. We're going to model that table in 3 different ways. I'm going to split this clip into 3 parts, and this way it's going to be much easier for you to follow. So please enjoy, subscribe to the channel and follow me. We have lots of things to discuss. So in today's episode we're going to talk about modeling. So modeling in 3D Studio Max. For that we're going to need an object that we're going to model. So I'm gonna go to IKEA and we're gonna take a small table from IKEA, and we're gonna model that table in 3 different ways. In this way you're gonna understand how to model stuff. So I'm going to products, to furniture, tables, and here I'm gonna go to salon and side tables. Let's see. Side tables. And I'm going to choose this model, which is called LEC. These are the dimensions that you can see here. We can see the product information. For example, the materials is made of particle board, fireboard, paper foil. Measurements are 55 by 55 by 45. Okay, let's start 3D Studio Max 2021. I'm going to leave the link in the description. This is my link from the Netherlands because I'm living in the Netherlands, but probably in your country it's going to be a different link, but all the products are always the same. So don't worry about that. You're definitely going to have the same product. I'm going to save this image also. You can't save this. So I'm gonna use the snipping tool and I'm gonna dimensions. Okay, my 3D Studio Max is now open. I'm gonna move this on the other side. And this is 3D Studio Max. There are a couple of different ways how to model an object in 3D Studio Max, but before that, always before you start the project, it's important to know in which kind of units you are working. So in my case, I'm gonna go to customize, unit setup, and I'm gonna check what kind of units. So the display units. So here the display units is gonna be in meters. I can use millimeters, and the system unit, which is very important, it's 1 unit, it's in centimeters. I'm gonna use this in millimeters also in this case. So millimeters and system units in millimeters. Okay. So right now if I'm gonna create a box, for example, it's gonna be created in millimeters. So for example, I have 68 by 68 by 79. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna maximize this by clicking on this button. Okay, and as it said here, it's 55 centimeters, as you can see here, by 55 centimeters. So I'm gonna create a square with 550 millimeters by 550 millimeters. So I'm gonna create a box, I'm gonna click on it, extrude it, and now I'm gonna go to modify, and having this clicked, I can see here the dimensions that I just created. So I'm gonna put here 550 by 550. Gonna zoom out, as you can see, And if I'm looking at the picture, I think that this dimension here is 50. Because it's 55, 55, so it's probably 500 here. And this is 50, this part here, the small one. Yeah, so let's go back to my 3D Studio Max and I'm gonna put 50 here. Okay, this could be. Right now, if I'm moving the object, the object is in the position of 0, 0, the height of the object, yeah? If I'm using here 0, 0, now it's gonna be exactly in the center, yeah? So the center of the object is exactly in the center of the scene, which is this point 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, yeah? Okay, so according to my sketch, the height of the whole object is 550. I have the height of the top 50, so I need to move everything 500 up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this object, and here on the Z-axis, I'm gonna put 500. And now if I go to the left side, you can see it's on 500, my object, yeah? Now we just created the top part. Now I'm going to create the legs. So I think that if the top part is 50, probably also this is 50. So this means that also the side part, so the width, it's also 50. So it's 50, probably it's a square, and it's 50 by 50. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another box with 50 by 50 and the height 500. So I just created the whatever box. I'm going to go to modify the object, and I'm going to make 50 by 50 by 500. And if I go to the left side, you can see that it's 50 by 50 by 500. Now I need to move this object on the corner. So I'm gonna move it by eye, but I can also move it in the exact position of this corner. So how am I gonna do that? I'm gonna open here something that is called the axis constraint. I'm gonna click on that, is this. I'm gonna put it here to have it for later. I'm gonna enable axis constraint in snap toggle. So it's this button. And now I'm gonna click on the snap toggle, which is this. And now I can pick up the object from the corner and move it on the corner of the object. I can also put it on the other corner if I want. It's just gonna snap there, yeah? Now with my shift mouse pushed, I'm gonna make a copy of the object and move it to the other corner. Now I'm gonna push the other two with a shift and left click mouse. So with the shift pushed, the shift button pushed and the left click mouse, I'm gonna move it and create another copy. And this is how you create copies in 3D Studio Max very fast. And now, as you can see, I have the table. If I'm looking at the table from the website, this table has some details. So here it has a shadow gap on the side. The corners, you can't really see it here. They're a little bit round. So they're a little bit chamfered. And other than that, that's all. And the material is white, it has some reflection. We're also gonna create a material for this. So I'm gonna, as you can see right now, my edges are very, very sharp. So for that, how 3D Studio Max is actually working, after you create an object, you can modify that object with a modifier list. So the modifier list has here many modifiers. We're not gonna use all of them, but probably we're gonna use some of them. But in this case, I just want to create the chamfer for these edges. So I'm going to go to the list and try to create the chamfer. If you push the C keyboard, it's going to go to C, and here you can try to find out the chamfer, which is here. And I push the chamfer, and now I'm applying a modifier to the object. As you can see, it will already apply the chamfer of 1 millimeter. The only problem is that, as you can see, if you push this I with the left mouse button, it's just showing you on and off the chamfer. But in the moment that I'm pushing on, this doesn't look straight anymore. It looks kind of a bump, like a curve, because the program is trying to chamfer also. Even though here it doesn't look like it's round, in the 3D it feels like it's kind of round, see? And that it's coming from the chamfer properties, and it's coming from here, the smoothing output. It smooths the entire group, the entire object. So if I click here and I say smooth only the chamfers only, now it's gonna be straight, and you can see this chamfer that the program made, yeah? Yeah, I don't know how big is the chamfer in reality on that object, but for now I'm just gonna say 1 millimeter here, which is fixed, and here I can say the number of segments that the chamfer is going to be. So normally having 0 here, it's enough, but in this case I'm gonna use the number 2, so to have a little bit of roundness on the chamfer. If you go on the side, left view, for example, and I go here, he's going to create the segments, yeah? If I'm putting, for example, 1, it's gonna be 1 segment. If I'm putting 2, it's gonna create another 2 segments, yeah? So in total there are 3. So this is the chamfer. And now for the legs, I need to do exactly the same thing. So I'm gonna just click on this modifier, I'm gonna copy it, I'm gonna go to the legs, and I'm gonna paste it. I can paste it as an individual entity, or I can paste it as an instance. What does it mean? For example, if I paste it as an instance, when I'm going to change the chamfer here, see this italic, it's just changed to italic, the text on the chamfer. This means that the object is this chamfer is related to this chamfer. So the chamfer from this object is related to the chamfer of this object. If I copy this, for example, on this object as a paste, a normal paste, when I'm changing the chamfer here on the mother object, let's say, he's not going to change also on the other object, only on the one that we pasted as an instance. See here, this object, I'm changing the main one, creating bigger, see also the other one is changing. So this is what instance means in 3D Studio Max. So this one is not changing, even though I'm changing it now, the other ones are staying the same, yeah? So I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna paste as an instance. I'm gonna paste it also as an instance here, and I'm gonna paste it as an instance also here. And now more or less we have that table. We're also gonna create quick material for this object. I'm gonna use Corona as a default render engine. You can go to coronarender.com and you can get you can download the Corona render from this link here. Download the Corona 7 for 3D Studio Max hotfix 1. and you just need to install this. It's very easy, you just download it, you go through installation, next, and that's it. Corona right now it's quite cheap. You need to pay, I think, around 25 euros per month. But from next year, when the new version of Corona 8 is going to come, it's going to be much more expensive. So they are trying to make it more expensive because, well, actually, if you buy it for 1 year, a license for 1 year, the price is going to stay the same. But if you buy it, if you pay it each month, then it's going to be more expensive. As you can see right now, the demo version is working for 45 days. So yeah, just use this for now, it should be fine. So I'm gonna push the M button and open the slate material editor. So this is where you create your materials. But before that, I need to go and tell the program that I want to use the Corona as my main rendering program. So I'm going to go to render setup, which is F10. If you push the F10 on your keyboard, it's going to open this. So right now, as you can see, it's telling me that render setup, for the render setup is using Arnold, but I just want to change that. So I'm going to common on the bottom part on the assign renderer. I can click on this and say, I want to use Corona render. So I'm using a daily build from March 2021. The point of this was only to create fast material so you guys can see exactly how the object is actually looking. I'm just gonna go to Corona, open the slate material, or go to Corona, legacy material. I'm gonna create a white material, not really pure white. I'm gonna create some reflection on the object. And I'm going to select my main object and assign material to selection. So I'm selecting the material and assigning the material to the selection. Okay, and normally, oops. Now if I'm pushing render, it should render the object. It doesn't show me anything in the render because normally you need to have a light in the camera so you can render. Otherwise, if you don't have any lights, it's totally darkness. So I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna go to lights, to Corona, and I'm gonna create a Corona light here. I'm just gonna move it up on the Z-axis, and now if I open the Corona frame buffer, now as you can see we have an object, and we also have, let me close this, minimize, and go here and try to do it from, oh no, trying to do it from the, if I'm using perspective, I can see the object and the reflection in the object, yeah? Reflection of the light in this case. So if I want to have a different background, I'm just pushing 8, which is the shortcut for the environment, which is this one. As you can see, environment, and here I can put white color, or maybe a little bit grayish because the table is also white. And now, yeah, you can see our table in there. If I'm adding also a plane in the scene, yeah, you can see better the material and the colors for the object. Okay, so right now we just created our first object in the normal way using standard primitives, which means that we use these primitives from here: box, sphere, cylinder, torus, teapot, etc. for using this table. It worked very well because we had a box, so yeah, the table was made of boxes, so everything went very smooth. But now I'm gonna show you a different way to create exactly the same object, but using a different approach to the whole scene. Yeah. So I'm gonna maximize this, and now I'm gonna create a box, the same as before.